In this class, I'll be solving this practice question on price elasticity of demand. And the question goes thus: if an increase in the price of a good from 100 naira to 150 naira leads to a decrease in the quantity bought from 500 units to 400 units, A. Calculate the coefficient of price elasticity of demand. B. What is the nature of the elasticity in A? So how do we solve this question? It's very simple. Just pay attention and follow me. So here is the solution. So we are starting with question A. We have to calculate the coefficient of price elasticity of demand. So the first thing you need to recall whenever you see a question like this is to recall the formula for calculating the coefficient of price elasticity of demand. That is the formula for calculating price elasticity of demand. So we know that there are two different formulas we can use to calculate this price elasticity of demand. So the first formula is that price elasticity of demand PED equals to percentage change in quantity demanded for the commodity divided by percentage change in the price of the commodity. And the alternative formula is simply change in the quantity demanded divided by change in the price multiplied by the initial price before the change divided by the initial quantity. So either of the formulas will give us the same answer. But in this video, I'll be applying this first formula. So in our subsequent video, I'll be applying the second formula. And you are going to see that we are going to get the same value. So let's use the first formula here. Using the first formula here, the formula says price elasticity of demand is equals to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So how do we compute percentage? So generally, whenever you are asked to calculate percentage change in any variable, so generally the formula to calculate percentage change is new value minus old value divided by old value times 100. So this formula will give us percentage change. So relating this general formula to this percentage change in quantity demanded, you can see that from the question we are told that if an increase in the price of a good, we are told that if an increase in the price of a good if from 100 naira to 150 naira leads to a decrease in the quantity bought from 500 units to 400 units. You can see from here, we know that our old value for P, that is the old P, is where the P is moving from, because before the change, what is the price? So before the change, the initial price is 100 naira. So that is the old value. Then we are told that it changes, that it increases to 150 naira. That represents the new value. Likewise, for the quantity bought, we are told that the quantity bought decreases from 500 units to 400 units. So in this case, the initial quantity is 500, while the new quantity is 400. So that is what we are going to apply. Now, let's try to find percentage change in quantity demanded. So percentage change in the quantity demanded is equals to, I call it Q2. I use Q2. Q2 represents our new value of quantity demanded. That's the new quantity demanded. Minus Q1, which is the initial quantity demanded, then divided by the initial quantity demanded, which is the old value of the quantity demanded, then multiplied by 100. Okay, now what is our Q2 here? Q2 from here, Q2 is equals to the new value for Q2, that is the quantity bought decreases, right? A decrease in quantity bought from 500 units to 400 units. So the new quantity demanded is 400. Okay, and the old one, the initial one, where it was before it decreased. So it's 500 here. Okay, now we are good to go. Then you know that the quantity demand, the percentage in the quantity demanded here will now be Q2 is 400 minus Q1, which is 500, divided by Q1, which is 500, then multiply by 100. Okay, so I can say 100 over 1 I like. So then if I simplify this further, 400 minus 500, that gives me minus 100, then divided by 500, then multiply by 100. Okay, so if I multiply that, so this is equals to this can cancel this cancel this cancel this. So we are left with 100, then we have divided by 5. So we can say 5 here, 1, 5 in 5 in 100. So we have 20. Therefore, the answer here is 20 minus 20%. Minus 20% represents our percentage change in the quantity demanded for the product. Now, let's also calculate percentage change in the price of the commodity. So let me do it here. Percentage change in the price of the commodity, that is percentage change in price, is equal to the new price, that is the P2 minus P1, which is old price, divided by the old price multiplied by 100. Okay, multiplied by 100. So let me write that clearly. Okay, now from here, the new price from here, you can see the new price is 150 naira. Okay, so therefore we have P2 equals 150. Then the old price, which is P1 before the change, that is 100 naira. Okay, then we can apply this formula, just substitute the values into the formula. So we have P2, which is 150, minus P1, which is 100, then divided by P1, which is 100, multiplied by 100. Okay, so this is equal, so let me write that. This is equal to 150 minus 100, which is 50, divided by 100, then multiplied by 100. Okay, this 100 will cancel this 100. So we are left with 50%. Okay, that means percentage change in the price of the commodity is 50%, while percentage change in the quantity demanded for the commodity is 20%. Okay, now let's calculate the price livestock demand. Price livestock demand. Don't forget the price of demand. The formula says percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by percentage change in the price. Then what is percentage change in the quantity demanded? Percentage change in the quantity demanded from here we got 20%. Okay, then divided by percentage change in the price. What percentage change in price? Percentage change in price is 50%. Okay, therefore the price of demand is equal to minus 0.4. Minus 0.4. So for a normal demand curve, the price of demand is always negative. That negative sign implies that a demand curve has a negative slope. That is, when the price goes up, the quantity demanded falls, and when the price or the quantity demanded goes up. It simply means that this demand obeys the law of demand. Okay, but when we are interpreting, I just told you that the negative only reflects the fact that a demand curve has a negative slope. Okay, when you are dealing with price of demand, you only see the negative sign as a reflection of the slope of a demand curve. But when you are interpreting the question of the elasticity, so you ignore the sign, you only focus on the figure here, the magnitude here, which is 0.4. So you ignore the negative sign. So this is our answer. This is the question of price and livestock demand. Okay. What of B? What is the nature of the elasticity? The nature of the elasticity, the question asks whether this elasticity is elastic or inelastic, perfectly elastic, or unitary elastic. That was their asked. Okay. So how do we know the nature of the elasticity? We just look at the coefficient here. I told you have to ignore the sign. Okay, when you are dealing with the price of demand. So ignoring the sign here, so we got 0.4. Since 0.4 is less than 1, okay, so you remember that wherever the price elasticity of demand, if the coefficient is less than 1, like we have here, so we have what we call inelastic demand. So in other words, the nature of this price elasticity of demand is inelastic demand. Why? Because wherever we have the coefficient of price of demand less than 1, like this, I told you, you ignore this sign, the focus will be 0.4. 0.4 is less than 1. So, therefore, the nature of the elasticity of demand here is inelastic demand, or what we call fairly inelastic demand. If you are asked, what is the reason for you to say it is inelastic demand? The reason is that the coefficient of the price of demand is less than 1. The coefficient of the price of demand is less than 1.